Hey friends, welcome back or welcome if you're new. I'm Sonja and in this is DIYs with Sonja, where I share high-end home decor DIYs, thrift flips and designer dupes that won't break the bank. In today's video, I'm showing you DIY high-end home decor thrift dupes inspired by stores like Pottery Barn, McGee Co, and more, all on a budget. These are the perfect look for less projects to help elevate your space with that timeless designer feel for a fraction of the cost. Make sure you stick around till the end and because I'm also sneaking in a quick furniture makeover that you won't want to miss. If you love creating beautiful spaces without spending a fortune, you're in the right place. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an affordable DIY idea. We're kicking things off with a beautiful thrifted glass jar I found at Goodwill for just $4.99. Such a great find. The price sticker was already half gone by the time I got home because I was so excited to work on it. At first, I was going to give it a quick spray with Rust-Oleum's Nutmeg, one of my favorite warm tone spray paints right now, but then I remembered the inspiration piece, the confit jar from Olive Ateliers. It has the most beautiful age texture, so I decided to go for that look instead. I let the spray paint dry completely, and then I went in with some country gray chalk paint to create that soft matte texture. If you don't have chalk paint, don't worry. You can use any light colored paint and mix in a little baking soda or cornstarch. This thickens the paint and gives it that aged pottery feel we love. I just happened to have chalk paint on hand and mine was already quite thick, which helped add a nice subtle texture. Once everything was dry, I sprayed one final coat of the nutmeg color over the textured surface. I've been obsessed with how this color looks on glass lately. It's earthy, cozy, and perfect for a vintage-inspired piece. The original Olive Atelier's jar, it's listed at $115. Mine, just around $5.50, including the paint. It now sits on my kitchen counter, and I truly love how it turned out. Rustic, timeless, and full of charm. Next up, I want to show you a set of thrifted glass vases that I found while specifically hunting for something with a thick rim and a cloudy recycled glass feel. I got really lucky. The larger vase was $3.99 and the smaller one was $3.49. I also picked up a few more from Dollar Tree and Dollarama to round out the collection, especially since I was recreating the look of the Hammered Cafe Hurricane vases from Pottery Barn, which ranged from $134 to $138. To mimic that frosted textured finish, I used gloss Mod Podge and dabbed on with a paper towel in a sponging motion. This gave the surface a cloudy, hand-blown glass look with extra texture. Don't forget to do a rim too. I repeated this on all of the smaller vases, and once dry, they looked perfectly weathered and collected, just like the originals. All of them grouped together create a gorgeous moment. They'll be perfect on a patio table for cozy ambient vibe when entertaining outdoors. I'm starting with these framed arm prints I found at Goodwill for just $3.99 each. I picked up two, but for today's project, I'll be working on one of them. Now, I actually really like the print inside. It has a beautiful home architecture in it, but the one inside that I found once I opened the frame up, it had a soft summery feel that I thought was so pretty. But the frame itself needed a little refresh. My plan was to keep the print and give the frame a completely new look. To start, I grabbed my knife, the same one I always keep in my DIY kit. I don't use a new one each time. This one has been with me through a lot of projects. I carefully loosened up the back and removed the artwork. And here's where I was pleasantly surprised. The print on the back was even better than I thought. It's absolutely perfect for summer decorating, so I made sure to hold on to it. Now, just a quick heads up, the camera angle was a bit off center during this part. I didn't realize it until editing, so thanks for bearing with me on that. As for the frame, I had a couple of ideas in mind, but I finally decided on spray painting. I used a beautiful leather brown shade. It looks like a creamy milk chocolate and gives a real rich base. After covering the whole piece with a solid coat, I wanted to add a little character, so I wrapped a Kleenex or just you could use also just a baby wipe around a pair of scissors and lightly rubbed off some of the paint off the raised edges. This helped lighten those areas and give them a more natural worn look. Once the first layer dried, I went back in with the Rust-Oleum Nutmeg spray paint. Here's the trick, you have to work in sections and you have to work fast. I'd spray a section with nutmeg, then immediately go in with a dry chippy brush and brush it out with soft, inconsistent strokes. This technique created a beautiful faux wood grain effect, and I was honestly amazed at how it transformed the frame. I repeated this process on all four sides, and when everything was completely dry, I reassembled the frame. I taped the artwork to the backing, popped the cardboard back in, and pushed the little nails down to secure it. Now look at this transformation. It looks like a custom piece just you'd pay 40 or more for in a store. The best part, I can switch out the print for different seasons, which make it such a versatile piece of home decor. This last project was my favorite to recreate. I picked up this thrifted salt votive candle holder, and my inspiration was the Olive Atelier mortar candle. These candles are quite pricey, and while my version is a bit smaller, it still captures the same designer look. I originally wanted to thrift an actual mortar, but had no luck finding it, so this was a great alternative. If you can't find a mortar either, you could even DIY one from scratch, something I might try in a future video. To start, I gave the piece a coat of white paint. Again, applying Mod Podge beforehand would have helped the paint adhere better, but I skipped that step. Once the white base dried, I added a layer of creamy beige paint, dabbing it on with a brush to create texture. To add dimension, I used a touch of black paint, applying it sparingly in the crevices and blending it out to avoid a grayish tone. I also went back in with beige paint to soften any harsh areas until I achieved the desired aged stone-like effect. And here is the final result. I placed the water candle inside, but a tea light will work just as well. It has that beautiful concrete inspired look, adding a vintage touch to any space. I think this would also be perfect for outdoor decor with citronella candles. By starting off with a fun little thrifted find that I picked up a while back. This unique taco shell bowl, I actually grabbed a set of two during one of my thrifting trips, and they've already made an appearance in few of my past DIY projects. But this time I thought it deserved a proper glow up, so I decided to give it a fresh makeover using some beautiful metallic gold spray paint. I had two partially used cans on hand, so this project was also a great way to use those up. The inspiration for this bowl makeover came from a piece I saw from Studio McGee Treasure Collection at Target. We don't have Target in Canada, but I absolutely fell in love with that look. And honestly, this little $2.99 bowl totally gives off those same high-end vibes. I took it outside and gave it two coats of the gold spray paint. If you want a more protected finish, you can go over it with a clear matte top coat, but I kept mine as is. I styled it with few moss-covered rope eggs for Easter, and it's currently sitting on my coffee table. It looks so elegant, and the best part, it was such an easy and affordable DIY. Now for my second project. This one was a little more involved, but still very budget friendly. I used the vase I had thrifted and made over a while back. These kinds of vases are super common at thrift stores. I see them all the time. I decided to give mine a more organic, rustic look by adding a handle and wrapping it in a natural rattan finish. For the handle, I used a large paper clip that I bent into shape. I created two little L tabs at the ends, so I glued it securely onto the vase. If you're trying this at home, I recommend using some painter's tape to hold the handle in place while the glue sets. It makes the process so much easier and keeps everything stable while it dries. Now for the wrapping, I picked up some woven placemats at Dollarama for $4 each. I had three, but only ended up using one. These placemats unravel beautifully once you snip the threads that hold them together. Once I had the strands ready, I made sure to glue around the handle first so to sandwich the wire in place. I began wrapping from bottom of the vase, gluing in few key spots to keep everything secure. My inspiration here came from several high-end rattan vases I've seen. Crate and Barrel has a few, Hobby Lobby, and even Walmart carries a Better Homes and Gardens version. But again, we don't have access to these pieces locally, so this was my take on the look. Total cost, just under $7. Quick personal moment here. I had a gallbladder attack last week and I genuinely thought I wasn't going to make it through the night. The pain was unreal. It lasted for about 10 hours and thankfully hasn't returned, but I do have an ultrasound booked just to check things out. If you've ever experienced something like this, I love to hear your story in the comments. It really helps to know we're not alone when stuff like this happens. Once it was fully wrapped, I went in with a bit of any Sloan dark wax, though you can use any antiquing wax you have, just to deepen the color and give it that rich high-end finish. A lot of people actually do this even with store-bought rattan vases since the color can be a little too light. I gave it a bit of a trim off camera too just to clean up any flyaways. I absolutely love how this turned out. It has such a warm designer feel, and now I want to wrap everything in rattan. Next up is a quick thrifted makeover that I absolutely love doing. I picked up this metal candle holder at the thrift store for just $2. It had a bit of a heart shape to it, which wasn't quite my vibe, so I bent it into a straight line. I started by spray painting in matte black, then lightly misted it with an antique brass spray paint to give it a layered, aged metal look. You can find similar high-end candle holders on Amazon or stores like McGee Co, but definitely not for $2. The scalloped edge on this one made it feel unique and elevated, and it couldn't have been easier to make over. Last but not least, I grabbed this jug style vase at the thrift store for $3.29. It's not huge, but I love the shape. It reminds me of the sculptural vases you see at Olive Atelier, Pottery Barn, and McGee Co, which can run anywhere from $30 to $150. I use country gray chalk paint to give it a creamy matte base. Chalk paint is amazing for this because it covers really well in just one or two coats, even over glossy or textured finishes. I used a wide brush for the body and a smaller brush for all the little crevices. After it dried fully, I was planning to go back in with the darker tones, maybe espresso or cinnamon brown or even a bit of black for texture. But once the first coat dried, I loved the look so much that I left it as is. To give it a ceramic inspired finish, I sealed it with a clear gloss spray, and it added the perfect subtle sheen. It looks so clean, high end, and custom, perfect for neutral, vintage inspired home decor. Next, I'm working on lantern project inspired by Pottery Barn's hand-woven lanterns, which start at $69. My inspiration piece actually came from a thrift store thrifted for me by Sandra from the Schwoman's Nest. I've had this piece for years and I haven't used it much lately, so it was time for a makeover. I started by brushing on antiquing wax. I'm using the dark wax from Annie Sloan. But as I was brushing it on, I wasn't loving the result. So I removed the candle and rope and then spray painted it using Rust-Oleum color in color nutmeg. The final look was inspired by those pottery lanterns, and now paired with the thrifted one, they look beautiful together. Finally, I found these two candlesticks at Value Village for just $2.99. They had great shape, but I wanted them to look more antique, more collected. I started by spray painting them with metallic gold for a full base coat. Once that dry, I added a very light misting of antique bronze and then a few touches of black spray paint just in random spots to give it some patina. The result is the gorgeous aged brass look, elegant, timeless, and perfect for layering into your year-round decor. I can't wait to start styling with these. Going to be making over this hutch. I had picked this up a while back at a antique barn. I did share that haul video at the time. I will link it in the description box or at the end, so you can check it out if that's something that you want to see. So I will be painting this with some chalk paint, just one color, very simple. It will be going into my dining room space, which is right over here. Don't mind all the pizza boxes on the table, but I still do not have a functioning kitchen, as you can see, but it's coming along, just a few more weeks. But I wanted to get this all painted up and start actually using it in a dining room so I can eliminate some of the items from the kitchen for now. And then once everything is done, I will be actually styling it for what it's supposed to be styled for. So I will be using some of these items. I'm going to use a roller, and I'm going to, just a normal roller, I'm going to give it a try just for the bigger pieces here, like bigger surfaces. And then I'm going to be using a brush. I got this at Benjamin Moore. It is their country something brush. I will try and find it online and link it for you. But it's a new brush. I wanted to try a bit more of a rounder brush than what I've had. This is the same brand as my other brushes that I've been sharing and using for a while now. I'm going to use a screwdriver just to remove some of the hardware. And I think I'm going to tape up the doors. I don't think I'm going to take them off, but I'm not 100% sure. I do love all the little details on this bottom half of this hutch. I love the that the hardware is on the outside for the doors, and this is all just one drawer, which is kind of nice. And then on the bottom here, you do have a recessed shelving. I will probably leave the inside as is and just paint the outside. This middle obviously doesn't open, and then there's more here, and it does go all the way in, which I do find a little silly that this part doesn't open, but so I can access it from both sides. And then the top has the little detail right on top, and then it has the little grooves for the plates, which I am planning on displaying some of the china that I do have that was a wedding present from my husband's grandmother. So but I'm just going to add a couple pieces to it. It's not going to be like the one that was previously in my dining room and I displayed most of the pieces. I just wanted something to have, still something that I can display it, but I didn't need something to display all of it, if that makes sense. So yeah, so I will be using that brown brush, and I'm going to be painting it in Athenian Black by Annie Sloan, and I'm going to be sealing it with an Annie Sloan sealer as well. I'm not going to use the wax. I'm going to use the brush on sealer. So without further ado, I'm going to get started. I'm going to give it a good cleanup, wipe everything down, dust it. I'm not going to sand anything, and then I'm going to start painting it. I am going to be using just water and vinegar spray to clean this up. It is pretty much just dusting, and there was nothing stuck on there. It was just dusty from being in that antique barn. It wasn't like sticky or anything like that. If it was sticky, I might use something like a crud cutter, or even take a light sander to it and sand it lightly, because you don't need to sand before you apply chalk paint. But if there is stuff stuck on it and you don't get rid of it, the chalk paint won't go on. So you want to make sure that your surface is clean. And typically, like I said, I use water and vinegar or just a microfiber cloth, depending on what I'm in the mood, if there's no stuck on things on there. Then I used a knife just to remove the hardware. I did, however, decide to leave some of it on and not tape it and just paint over it black, because I've decided I was going to paint the hardware that I did take off, just spray painted with black chalk paint. Now, this is a very new technique for me. I know I've been doing furniture makeovers for a while, but I have actually never rolled on chalk paint before, and I actually quite liked the way this turned out. When I was doing a little bit of research as to what kind of a roller to use, they said it's supposed to be velour. I wasn't able to find the one that they were recommending, so I just used a regular roller, sponge roller that I had on hand, and that seemed to have worked fine. I loved the smooth finish that it left on top. I was quite impressed. And this brush worked really, really well. However, I did find I ended up having some blisters around my fingers where I was kind of holding it. So not sure if that's just a matter of getting used to it or the handle just left blisters. I found it was a little bit heavier as well. So I'm not quite sure whether it's a brush that I'm going to be reaching for as often as I did for the same company's brush that I've used for many years. You can see that brush in all my other videos that I have made on this YouTube channel. Speaking of this YouTube channel, if you're stopping by for the very first time, welcome. My name is Sonja, and over here on my DIY channel, I happen to have a couple other ones. But here on this DIY channel, you will find lots of thrift store makeovers, lots of furniture makeovers, and then sprinkled in with some seasonal dollar store decor as well. If you are interested in seeing how I will be using and decorating this hutch, make sure you head on over to my home channel as well, because that is where I share all the home decorating, cleaning type of videos. So all the links to all of my channels are in my description box. And I also want to mention that at this time I am hosting a giveaway over on Instagram, so if you would like to head on over there, the link is in the description box, and make sure you follow what the simple giveaway rules if you want to be entered.
I know that I haven't been who I was. I am supposed to be the one you can trust. I feel so useless 'cause I let you down. I hope there's some way I can make it alright, 'cause I know that you deserve much more than this. If you give me one more chance, I swear I'll try my best to always be there. And I want you to know that I'm lost without you. I'm known without you. I hope I can show what you mean to me, 'cause I don't know what to do if you go. Ooh, I just don't know what to do if you go.
So once the whole piece was painted, and let it dry for about 2 hours, and then I applied second coat, pretty much using the same technique as I did the first coat. I always find that with black type of like a darker paint, I've used dark blue, I've used dark brown, the graphite, this is Athenian black, I think they also have black. I always have to add another coat. With white, not so much, but with the darker colors, I do find I have to do that. So once the bottom piece was finished, I moved on to the top piece, and again I rolled on all the larger surface areas. I painted it with the roller, and then all the little nooks and crannies and the detailing I used a brush. I actually ended up getting even a smaller brush just to get into the little squares, because I was finding with the bigger brush it was leaving a lot of paint behind and causing a little bit of drips. So I just used a smaller brush just to get in there and get those that paint smoothed out.
I just don't know what to do if you go. I've been so selfish and made you believe that you're not.
So at the beginning of the video, I showed you a little glimpse of what's been going on in my home. If you would like to see more of that, make sure you head on over to my home channel, because I do share all the updates for the reno there. But I have been working really hard on making over a lot of my furniture pieces to fit with the style that I am going for now. So those videos will be coming your way shortly, as well as a couple other home DIY projects that I've been working on.
You're all I need. I take you places that you've never been. I would give you.
So both pieces are finished now. Well, the whole piece is finished. This one still needs a bit more time to dry, but that one is completely dry. So I'm going to seal it with Annie Sloan chalk paint lacquer. It's like matte wax, kind of same protection, but you use a sponge brush to put it on. So it's essentially like the same way as any other top coat that you would use on when you stain furniture or things like that. So I'm going to apply it. Usually I just do one coat. This is not going to be overly used, so I am not too concerned. But if you wish to get a good amount of coats on, you should probably do one or two coats, just to be on the safe side. So here's the piece with the varnish on. It needs some time to dry, and while it's drying, I'm gonna head on outside and spray paint some of those handles that I have taken off. So I'm using the Bare Chalk decorative paint in black and in classic black, I think that's what it's called. And I just spray paint all the screws as well as all the handles with it, so it matches somewhat the paint that's already on the china cabinet. So here is the piece. It's not 100% dry yet, but I am 100% pleased with the way it turned out, and I can't wait to decorate it with some white, greens, and some raw wood pieces on here. Well, I hope you had enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you had enjoyed it, if you liked it as much as I did, and I can't wait to see you all in my next video. And I want to just say there are more coming your way, so please make sure that bell notification is on so you don't miss these uploads.
The world, if you let me try again, yeah, just give me one more chance. I swear I'll try my best to always be